Do you have an old brow tattoo that you want to cover up? It's turned a little pink. You're not sure what color to pick. And also to reshape the eyebrows a tiny bit. I'm going to show you how to do that with this model. And if you know anyone that also wants to cover their tattoo, you definitely want to share this. So stick around, and I think you're going to find some tips here and there. Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. So today is part one of 3 series on brow tattoo. This model, the brow tattoo, has turned a little bit on the pinkish side. Now I say brow tattoo a lot because it is an essence tattoo because you're pushing ink and underneath the skin, but many people now recognize it as microblading. So her tattoo has turned a little bit on the pinkish side. So if that is you, this is your video. If you feel like you don't relate with this because yours is more on the bluish side, then that's next week. That's for you. So, and I have an old brow tattoo, and some of you guys are new, so now you know. Welcome. I have been shaping eyebrows for over 25 years, and I am still at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. So please come by and get your brows shaped. So as you can imagine, I've seen quite a bit of eyebrows, right? So I just want to speak on this particular model because many of you might have this, and she wanted to go a little bit darker, cover up her tattoos. So that is what this video is about. So here we go. The tattoo has turned, like I said earlier, a nice kind of shade. It could have been much more pink, more red actually. So I told her she's already in a good spot. It's the shape that I do want to point out and adjust, and I'll point that out throughout the video, the shape, and I'll get more into the shape in a few weeks talking about the tattoo and if you're thinking about getting it done. Okay, so this is a brow primer because I'm going to use a powder. Primer helps the powder to stick, especially when you have a tattoo underneath. The reason why I use the primer, and it has no color, it has like a kind of a velvety like texture, and you want to use a clean spoolie brush to kind of spread the product throughout. The reason why I use this because it helps the powder to stick really well. So if you're hair coloring, if you have salt hair, blonde, light blonde hair, you want to use taupe. Now this is the other reason why I like using the primer, because the primer really helps the color to stay true to its color without changing too much. And when you have a pinkish color underneath, it can change quite a bit. So the primer really does help in setting the stage, if you will. Okay, so the taupe color. This, and even if you don't have a tattoo and you're not sure because you have her hair color and you're not sure what color to pick, taupe is really the most universal best color for you. I'm going to use ash brown because that's the best color for me. Okay, so the brush. Notice that I'm holding the brush right at the edge of the lower side of the eyebrows, and then I'm lining a tiny bit, and then I'm dragging the brush up. I'm lining a tiny bit, and I'm dragging the brush up. The reason why I do this is so that way I get a good coverage. Again, always just keep in mind that I have that primer underneath. That's why you're probably thinking, oh, that's why the powder is just picking up so well. So when you use a primer, the color just really sticks beautifully. So, and obviously she's laying down. Well, she is. You don't know that. It's not obvious. She's laying down, so I'm coming from behind her. But when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, try holding the brush this way and then just move it and raise it. Now you notice that I'm going in an angle. I'm just kind of going in a direction that the hair is. So up in the front, it's always nice to just kind of do this and do that, like in an angle. So that way you're going in that direction of the hair. She does have some hair, by the way, and you could probably tell. You could already see from here the difference from that side that I'm working on right now and the other side, meaning the color, right? Beautiful, beautiful difference. And like I said, I'm just basically going right at the edge, and then I'm moving the brush up edge. And again, I'm holding the brush this way. If this feels really awkward to you, hold it laying down maybe and try it this way, but you don't want to hold it head on because that's going to just make the brush flat. You're not going to keep it as sharp as you should. It really helps when you're laying the brush down. So over here, as you can see, it's mostly skin. This is why I went right up here, because it's mostly skin. And so you want to go right up there and right where the tattoo is. And so this is where most of the coverage is going to happen, really, because of that tattoo. So you go at the top and then at the bottom, and then you just raise the brush up. You just have to raise it up. You don't want to drag it this way because then the inside will be too dark. So by raising the brush up and going around the tattoo, you're already covering it up and you're just going over your own tattoo. You're not making a new shape. Partly because obviously the point is to cover the tattoo, and just by putting color on the tattoo, it will expand, meaning the look of your eyebrows. So you're already getting it a little fuller anyway, so don't worry about that. So this is where I always say the magic happens. Because of the highlighter, you can use a concealer if you find yourself very dry, but the highlighter stick really helps in cleaning up any of the mess. I'm just going to do this side right here. You obviously can tell I'm not doing too much on my eyebrow because of that tattoo, and I really just want you to focus on why I'm doing what I'm doing. And the brush is everything, because this really does help finish the shape. So I often say you can finish your shape with a highlighter, and when you're putting something like a powder, it can get, like even a pomade, it can get very messy, and you may not have it as perfect as far as the initial application, but just get the color on there, making sure that the brush is laying down, and then you finish the shape with the highlighter and that brush, and it just makes it look much more clean and crisp. The clear brow gel I still use here because, like I said, as you can see, she does have some hair there. Look at this beautiful before and after, right? Where it is a little darker, and keep that in mind. When you're covering a tattoo, even though it has that blush pinkish tone, it's still going to be a little bit darker. You just can't get away from that, but it's ashier. Now I'm pointing this part out because, as you can see in the before, the brow's going like this way, right? At the top, when it should be going more like that way. So that is why there is a little bit of reshaping. That's why you want to bring the front brow area down below a little bit forward and not focus so much on the top. Now, just by bringing it a little bit forward, it'll do that. Okay, so this side, the brow tattoo is a little bit kind of flat right there at the tail, which is why I'm pointing that out. And these are the times where you can just adjust and bring out the color out here because it's flat, or it's doing this little dip. So that's the only thing that I really just adjusted, which is bringing it out forward down below and then just kind of going right outside above here. So that way the shape is a little bit more I don't know, more balanced, if you will. Okay, so like I said, beautiful before and after. It's a little bit darker, but it works. She loved the color, and she felt like she can do this as long as she puts that primer and just go for it with the powder, with the brush laying down, and with the highlighter. It really does help shape the eyebrows. So I hope this tip helped you out if you do have this particular coloring. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. Definitely share this with someone. All the products that I've used will be in the descriptions. I tagged them as well for a quick purchase. I think you can just tap the screen. And next week will be about the opposite color, where it turns more, it's a cool tone, right? So that's what you want to stick around for, or tune in for, not stick around, tune in for. So thank you so much for sticking around this video, and I will see you guys next week.